Who should be watching this? Do you have a LinkedIn profile but don't know how to use it? Maybe you're just on LinkedIn lurking and watching but never actually contributing. You might not have a LinkedIn profile at all and think of getting one. Or your HR or marketing or general line managers asked you to join LinkedIn and you're not exactly sure what to do. This is the right place for you. Let me first introduce myself. I'm Ailana Haroff. I've been using LinkedIn for more than 15 years, and I've been using it as a marketer for business to business companies. So, in other words, I mainly work for technical or engineering companies. I'm a consultant that looks after their digital marketing. So, I'm not a trainer, I'm not an educator, I'm a user of the system daily. And I'm often requested by these companies to actually get employees onto LinkedIn, or if the employees are on LinkedIn but not using LinkedIn optimally, I help them and coach them through the process of using their LinkedIn profile optimally. Let's start with social media platforms. Um, Whether you're 16 or 60 or 80, you probably have some interaction with social media. On the left here, I show a couple of well-known social media platforms. And the purpose of this is to show you that different platforms has got different places or different purposes that they are used for. Facebook is very well known. It's a social or a family-orientated social media. Facebook on the left-hand side is very well known and used to share photos and recipes and so forth. There's other ones like Instagram, which is visually orientated, beautiful photographs, travel, so forth. Young people will use it, younger and older people will use it for that. And the only reason I'm showing you this is to explain that LinkedIn is also a social media platform, but it's more a business-based platform for older people normally and more professional people. We'll talk about it a bit more, but the message you should get here is that it's also a social media platform similar to Facebook and these types, but focused on a specific type of user. And why do we call them social media platforms? It's a way of sharing text and multimedia through virtual networks. So instead of going to a conference, you might send information about your product on or share information about your product on LinkedIn. And that's the difference between or that's why we still call it a social media platform, even though it seems a bit more formal than the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the TikToks of this world. And why LinkedIn? First of all, LinkedIn has got more than 930 million members. It's you will see if you look here, the members are all over the world. So it's not a US or a European heavy social media platform. There's actually users worldwide, and you can have a look at this map to see in 2023, I think, where the users were or are based. All right. So why LinkedIn? It's an excellent, except for the numbers that you just saw, it's an excellent platform for developing and strengthening your brand as an individual. You might have heard about personal branding, and personal branding is actually what people see when they look on the internet primarily for you. So how do you present yourself there? Do you have your own website? Do you have your own LinkedIn page? Do you have only Facebook pages? Or are you actually, and some people are, completely invisible on the internet? Nothing wrong with any of these. It's just that's how you show, or that's the brand that you want to show the world. If you want to increase your visibility as an individual, um, or LinkedIn is the ideal way to do it. Not only does it increase your visibility, but it also increases your company's visibility. The company that you work for, if you work for your own company, you can increase visibility like that as well. It's used by most business people and companies in the world. And a very interesting fact is that only about 3 million users share content on a weekly basis. So you've seen that number of 930 million that I just showed you. So this little portion, less than a fraction of a percent of those people share content on LinkedIn. And that makes it very powerful because you can see it's very easy, not very easy, but it is easier to be visible on LinkedIn than on platforms like Facebook. And then the last thing is it showcases your professional life in structured categories. So in the old days, if I can call it that way, when LinkedIn started off, it was often seen as an online CV. It has a very structured way where you show your work history and your education. And that makes it easy to find people and to find people that you look for in a certain way. But it's also a structured way of presenting yourself to the world, your business self to the world, if I can put it like that. So I want to stop here and ask you to do a Google search. So Google or any other search engine that you prefer to use, type in your name and your surname and see what you find. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds to quickly go in and type in your name and surname and see what you find when you type in your details in Google. All right. I did it for me when I put together this presentation, and I've got a unique name and surname, but this is what I'd like to see. This is my brand and the brand I'd like to see. So my top result is from LinkedIn. And if people are looking for you, you might have done it yourself, that if you want to employ someone, or if you want to use a new supplier, or if you want to meet a new customer, you quickly go and Google them to see what they're about. And if it's a business contact that's Googling you, this is what you want them to see. So my LinkedIn is at the top because I use it often and I interact on LinkedIn quite often. I've also got Facebook. I'm not very active there, but because I've got to use it for my work, I often log in there and you can find it. You can find details of me there. And then you'll see my photographs are also quite visible. So it's myself or it is people that tag me in their photograph, friends and colleagues that tag me in their photographs. And just for interest's sake, if you want your photographs to be found, some people don't, but name your file name, your name. So you will see my names are normally Elana Harov, LinkedIn 2023, Elana Harov, LinkedIn 2015, that previous one. But I put my name and my surname in my file name, which means Google finds me or finds pictures of me when people search for me. All right, LinkedIn's mission. It's very simple: to connect the world's professionals and to make them more productive and successful. Now, I showed you here people linking with each other. I'm going to talk about this in more detail, but LinkedIn is a network platform, a networking platform. So I'm talking about the old days, the old time, but I mean, even now, if you want to network, you normally go to a conference or you go to a exhibition, and there you meet new people and you exchange business cards or electronic business cards or details, and that's the way you built your network in the past. That was the only option you had. You will meet people at maybe that come for meetings, you'll meet suppliers, and that was the way to build your network. This is now electronic way to build your network, but more about the LinkedIn network later. All right, this is just another little bit of stat that I want to show you. The whole purpose is don't worry about all the detail, but if you look from the top, you'll see WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook are very, very used by a lot of people often. Let me put it that way. So the stat is the percentage of active social media users who say that this social media platform is their favorite platform. And poor LinkedIn is sitting here at the bottom. You'll see not many people's favorite, my favorite though, but that's also it's also a smaller platform and not used very often, which also makes it nice in the sense that it's a more selective audience, if I can put it that way. Not everyone is on LinkedIn. All right, there's two types of LinkedIn pages. There's personal pages and there's business pages. There's more types. There's school and university pages as well. For the purposes of this presentation, we're talking about personal and business pages. Your personal page, I'm going to show you an example now, is for building your professional brand. So this is what you want to show the business world about yourself. You in the past, it was an extremely professional network. No one was talking anything but business. In the past 3 or 4 years, it became a bit more personal. So you'll see people will talk about their personal lives. They will be a bit more vulnerable on LinkedIn, where it was frowned up a couple of years ago. This has now changed a bit. Your personal page allows you to network. So you link and connect to people. You build out a network of professional contacts that you would like to be, or professional people that you would like to be in contact with. Very important thing that people sometimes forget is remember you take your contacts with you if you've got them on LinkedIn. If you only have your contacts on your email, your email contact list, that email contact list stays with your company if you move from one company to the next. So even though it benefits your company if you've got a big network, and I'll show you how later, it benefits you if you grow your network. So do not think that this is something you do for your company. You do it for you personally. If you move from company A to company B to company C, your LinkedIn contacts move with you. It still is an online CV, so it's still very often used to find jobs, to find employees. And I've worked with a number of companies that said they will actually not employ someone if they're not on LinkedIn. So they actually just search on LinkedIn, especially if it's a technical company. They just feel that's already one filter done, because if a person that works in a technical field is not on LinkedIn, they exclude them from their search. It will improve your appearance on Google search results. So if people search for you for business, so like me, that's a consultant and I want new business, if people in South Africa or anywhere in the world say digital marketing consultant, I'd like to appear towards the top. If they add LinkedIn to that search, I would like to be in the first page. And that being on LinkedIn and active on LinkedIn helps you with. Business, I'm not going to talk too much about, but these business pages. So a business page helps your company to stay in front of mind of the customer, and that's very much dependent on the employees. So you'll see that we in the companies that I work for, we create content that we publish on the business page, on the LinkedIn business page, and then you can alert employees to the fact that there's new content, and they can decide to share or comment on it or like it. And that's how it gets distributed to their networks. So normally company pages doesn't have many, they might have 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 people that follow them. But the employee base and their networks are 10, 20 times that size. So it's very important that the employees are active on LinkedIn on behalf of the company. As a company, we use our LinkedIn pages to distribute content, maybe stuff that's new on the website, maybe articles that's been written, case studies that's been written, new product releases, and then videos. So it's a very nice way of distributing content that you're creating on other platforms. And then we support other activities, like if we go to an exhibition or go to a conference or maybe speak at a conference, we will then publish that information on LinkedIn as well. And it's a great way to interact with partners. There's actually people that become, and I say this in inverted commas, friends on LinkedIn. I mean, it's people that you've never met, that you've never seen in person, but you communicate on LinkedIn through comments and through remarks that you start to get to know that person. All right, we're back at this slide. So if you share something on LinkedIn, or if you search on LinkedIn, you normally search within your network. So how do you build a network? You build a network by connecting to people, and I'll show you in later videos how to do that. And the people that connect to you directly is your first level connections. So this is what you see on the left here. These are first level connections. The people they connect with are your second level connections, and the people the second level connect with are your third level connections. So what I want to show with this picture is that you can understand that if you only have a network of 50 people, your ultimate network will be very small. So if you post anything, if you search, if you're looking for jobs, if you're looking for employees or for people to appoint, you're searching through a small network. This is not only your only network, but this is the basis of your network. So if you can start by building your network to at least a 500 or 1,000 people, your basis network is bigger. And then, of course, depending on how large your connections networks are, you can get quite a large network. Your network is also including people that you went to school with, or university or college with, and then people you worked with in the past. It can also be groups that you joined, which will form part of your network, or hashtags that you follow. So it's more than just this network, but I want you to be very aware that not all 930 million people see what you post. It's your network that sees what you post, and also only part of your network. If your network doesn't interact with your content, if they don't like your content, then you're going to stop seeing it. Like all other social media platforms, there's an algorithm that decides what gets shown to people. And if your content isn't something that people interact with, then it will get shown less. It will be shown more to the people that interact with it. All right, so let's start by looking at a personal profile. I'm going to start, I took my personal profile, and I'm just going to show you pointers in this introductory video of what is the least you should have. So these are the least that is expected of a decent LinkedIn profile. Okay. The first thing is your name. So I'm saying name and surname. You'd think that would be obvious. It's not always obvious. So it's not Dr. APC Fourie. It's Andre Fourie. And there is a place for a nickname. So if you edit there, you'll see everything gets edited by the little pen to the right if you're in your profile. If you edit, you can add a nickname. To start off with, start with your name and surname as people know you, because you want people to find you. If you add degrees and things like that, please don't, because that's not how people are going to find you easily. There's other places where you can add your qualifications. So first thing, your name and surname should be there. Secondly, a profile photo. So profile photo, some people use avatars. I would just suggest, if you want to use LinkedIn as a platform where you connect with people, show your face. And show your face smiling, friendly, and recent. I'm sorry. Smiling, friendly, and recent, and facing the camera. Head and shoulders, like a headshot, is ideal. And just that people will recognize you if they see you in person. So that's the main thing of this profile pic. It mustn't be a 10-year-old wedding photograph. It must be something recent. This is your header image. Can be a branded image like I've been using. It can be something with a tagline or a quote that you like. It can be something with your contact details on. But please put something in there. It can be maybe something that you're interested in, like gardening or traveling, or a neutral-ish. If you're not saying something specific, keep it neutral. A neutral nature photograph is fine, but just something to complete your profile. Next is your header. Your headline, not header. That was where we were just now. So your headline is that little bit there, not the hashtags, but the digital marketing for technical and engineering companies. This is where you must spend the most time initially, to make sure that you put in there what is important for you to be known for. LinkedIn will automatically take your latest position and put your job title in there. and you want to put more than that in. So I normally, well, you can see what I've put in there. I've put in what I want to be known for. I do digital marketing for technical and engineering companies. I'm specific. I do not want people to contact me that want shoes sold or an online shop for maybe books or something like that. I want a very specific client, and that's why I put that in there. I want to be known as a LinkedIn expert. And that last bit is actually not a bit of fun, but that's what I'm busy with at the moment. So that changes from year to year. Currently, I'm looking at TikTok and Instagram and so forth to see what it does in business to business marketing. All right, so this headline travels with you everywhere. If people can't see anything else of you, they can see this. So if your name is Johan Pieterse and you CTO of a company and people search for Johan Pieterse, they will find CTO if you don't edit this. So if they've got to find someone that's specific in the plastics industry in South Africa and does chemical engineering in polymers, they're not going to know it's you if you put their CTO. You're welcome to put CTO of your company and then put a bit more in there that they know they're finding the right person that they're looking for. So of all what I mentioned up to now, this is the portion that gets the least attention. Please spend some time looking at other people's headlines and making sure that yours is comprehensive. Can be changed constantly, doesn't have to stay the same. All right, and then there's the place where you currently working at. So that's the top right, and that gets populated by LinkedIn, by your top employment, your latest employment history that you fill in towards the bottom, and then the same for your area of study. So I actually studied my formal degree at the University of Pretoria, but I did some courses at University of Cape Town, and that's why it puts University of Cape Town there. I can change that to University of Pretoria by changing the order of how I put my history or my education history in LinkedIn. All right, so that's the basics. This is really just an introduction, like I said. Why do you use LinkedIn? Why does companies use LinkedIn? And what are the top tips that you should at least have on your LinkedIn profile, or the top 5 items that you should have on your LinkedIn profile. So if you want to learn more, you can set up a session with me, or you can go to my courses on Udemy that explains to you in more detail what to put on your LinkedIn profile. And even if you have a LinkedIn profile, how to improve it. And that's my story.